Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. This is where you can get the scoop on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to watch a specific movie and spend your time and money doing it. I think you're going to love this channel. If this is the very first time that you're here, go ahead and subscribe and like it and comment down below. All of those things spread magical YouTube fairy dust all over my channel so that it can grow, and tell your friends to come on over here and join the conversation. You can also find me on Instagram as Movie Review Mom and as Trina Boice, which is my real name, even though I'm known as Movie Review Mom. And I love it when my subscribers call me Mom or Mama, which they often do. It makes me laugh every time. We also have a Facebook group called Movie Review Mom, where we have all kinds of fun conversations and share memes and, of course, movie reviews. All right, let's get started. Today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Why We Breathe. This lovely film is now on DVD, streaming on Prime and on PureFlix. And the fact that it is on PureFlix lets you know it is basically a family-friendly movie. The movie is rated PG and is an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, and a recommendation for another film that I think that you might like if you like this one. All right, let's get started. In a nutshell, Charity Spencer, the producer of this film, kindly sent me a press screener so that I could review it for you. Now, the movie actually came out a little while ago, so I finally had time to watch it. And I always want to support new filmmakers and even actors. So here we go. The movie is about a young woman and her daughter who relocate from a big city, Nashville, Tennessee, to the small town called Nolensville, Tennessee, to escape a violent past that will eventually catch up with them. The movie was written and directed by D. Eric Parks. So here's a list of some of the things that I liked about the movie. First of all, the cast includes all new faces for me. And as I mentioned, I really enjoy supporting new actors. The protagonist, Carrie, is played by Alexandra Sedlak. Now, the very first time I saw her character working in the diner, I just thought she was a teenager and the story was going to be about a teenager. I hadn't seen the trailer, so I had no expectations. I thought she looked way too young to be a mother of a 10-year-old girl, but it actually ties into the story where she admits she made some mistakes when she was younger and probably got knocked up when she was a teenager. So there you go. That's the beginning of the story. It's always refreshing to see a clean, family-friendly film that inspires and grabs your heart. The characters seem pretty realistic, filled with real-life problems. The plot is very believable because of that. I really liked how Uncle Joe, played by Donnie Clark, explains the title of the movie. He said that we each need to figure out our own purpose of why we're here and why we breathe in order to find the meaning in our everyday lives. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything he said because that'll kind of spoil it for you, but he makes a really good point. And I love it when movie titles are tied into the actual content of the film. And this movie does that. So while it is a sort of Christian film, it doesn't bang you over the head with preaching like some of those can do. The director intentionally tried to create a crossover film that would speak to everyone. Spencer describes the movie as subtly religious, and I would say that's pretty accurate, while Parks calls it an actual ministry that attempts to bring comfort and inspiration. The movie was filmed in Nolensville, Tennessee, which is an actual town that the director fell in love with. Some of the locals got to perform as extras in the movie, and I always love that when directors reach out to the community like that. Now, there were some things that I didn't like about the movie. First of all, there are some forced acting moments that kind of pulled me away from the moment. They're young, new actors that are somewhat inexperienced, and so there are some kind of bad acting moments. The plot moves very slowly and some scenes linger a little too long. A lot of Christian movies like this are super sad and sappy and cheesy throughout the entire film. There needed to be more happy moments to kind of balance out the sad ones. Now, there were a few attempts at some cheerful montages, but overall, the movie is sad and has a melancholy tone to it. However, that is also realistic because some people's lives are fraught with drama and severe challenges, like the case of this story. The budget was probably pretty low for this film, so the production quality suffers a little bit at times because of that. For example, there are some editing issues and some shaky cam moments. Act 3 feels a little bit rushed with a predictable ending and some cliched writing, which is a shame. It's realistic to include close-minded Christians in the story, which this film does, but it sure made me cringe to see Christians who behave badly like that absolutely do not understand the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it's such a shame that they call themselves Christians and yet they're so unchristlike in their actions towards others. But that also is one of the lessons of the movie. Let me give you some tips for parents. Kids might be bored because it's a bunch of adults talking and there's sadness and no big action. There's alcohol, an unmarried couple lives together, and domestic abuse is sort of represented in a subtle way, I guess you could say. Some of the themes that are illustrated well in the movie are single mothers, abusive relationships, PTSD, not just from military, but from the domestic abuse issues, parenting and taking on family responsibilities, overcoming past mistakes, starting over, judgmental Christians, as I mentioned, accepting help from others graciously, community support, hope, which is my all-time favorite theme in movies, and believing in your dreams and not giving up. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I include them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. So there are some funny lines, not hilarious humor, but kind of subtle humor. For example, there's this one judgmental Christian lady, and she says, "Bless your heart," or "bless his heart," which is what people say in the South when they try to buffer insults that come out of their mouth. And I lived in Georgia for 15 years and heard this firsthand. I didn't think it was funny, but my mother also grew up in the South in North Carolina, and she would always say, "Bless your heart," in a genuine way. And so when it comes out of my mouth, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, "Oh, bless his heart," like, "Oh, poor baby." So it can be used both ways. In this case, in this movie, it's used definitely as a slam. All right. So overall, I thought that the movie was good, certainly shared some good lessons. And yet there were a few issues because the team that put this film together seemed pretty new in the industry. Not that that's always a bad thing, but just that there are some things that can be fixed in the next attempt at filmmaking. So overall, my movie review mom grade is a C+. Now, let me give you a recommendation for another film that came to my mind. The story is sort of similar in that there is somebody who's trying to overcome challenges, get a second chance, deal with issues that are happening within the family, and meets a wonderful Christian woman. Now, not all the Christians in this movie are wonderful, but some of them are. And so in this movie, it's called War Room. And I actually thought it was really good. You don't have to be Christian to enjoy it. Certainly, the message of prayer is one of the biggest themes and how prayer does change things. Anyway, I thought you might enjoy it if you like this movie. All right, that's it for my movie review for today. I hope that if you watch it, you do enjoy it and that you do feel comfort, peace, and hope. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I will catch you in the next movie review. Bye for now.